Hey, yo, I want to talk about why you should play the Magic format Tiny Leaders Reborn. Except I don't know the first thing about it. But luckily, I know someone who does. The Cosmarian, who's a member of the Tiny Leaders Reborn committee. So I'm going to put my headset on and get my dog bot to set up a call between us, and then I'll challenge them to convince me to play in 15 minutes or less. Click. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, the Cosmarian. Welcome. I'm Red, he, him. This is my channel. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Wonderful. Why don't you, obviously you and I have already had a bit of a chat today, but for the folks at home, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm the Cosmarian. I'm one of the members of the Tiny Leaders Reborn committee, and I'm just excited to be here.
I'm excited too. It's good to have you. As a Tiny Leaders Reborn format committee member, you reached out to me and said if I'd be interested in discussing the format with you, to which I kind of said, well, to be honest, I don't know what it is. I don't even know what Tiny Leaders was originally. I'd heard of it, but it wasn't on my radar. I've never played it, and I don't know what the distinction is. And to be fair, I'm not entirely sure how I would even go about playing it. So I said, well, rather than discussing it, if you're willing, I'd be willing to set you a challenge to give you 15 minutes to come and convince me. And here we are. So how are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling great. This is going to be fun.
Good. Well, I've got two pieces of bad news for you. First off, I have already started the timer, so I do apologise about that. And also, very rarely do I stop speaking, so I am going to be jumping in with a whole bunch of questions. Are you ready for that?
I'm down.
So my first question really is kind of in three questions, and then a fourth that's a bit gets to the crux of it. So question the first: what is Tiny Leaders? What is Tiny Leaders Reborn? What's important about the distinction? And then there's a lot of formats out there, so why play this one in particular?
Sure. Yeah, so Tiny Leaders is a 1v1 50 card format, which works a lot like Commander. You have singleton rules, you have a commander. The main hitch is that you are playing with only cards of mana value 3 or less.
Oh,
And so basically, that means that you don't have to deal with like Sheoldreds or any of the silly cards like One Ring that kind of get to above
right.
that threshold of getting into silly ridiculous territory.
Yeah.
It feels like a nice mix of Commander and Legacy, interestingly enough.
Okay.
And so you have a lot of these cards like Abrupt Decay and Long Goodbye that are kind of bad usually and are now just like format staples because they just don't have the restriction that they had before
Yeah.
of only hitting some of the cards. And so Tiny Leaders has 25 life. Tiny Leaders Reborn has 20 life.
Okay. Faster games then, presumably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a few slight differences. The big one is that Tiny Leaders began around 2013 and ended up kind of falling out of the public eye around 2015.
Was there
and then Tiny Leaders Reborn picked that up.
Is there a reason for that, roughly? Do you know? Or because I'd heard of Tiny Leaders, but like I say, I've never played it, and
Yes.
I imagine I'm not alone in that either.
Yeah, the biggest problem with Tiny Leaders Original was just the small card pool.
Right.
At that time, we were dealing with roughly 100 legal commanders.
Okay.
And now you have something like 1,000 legal commanders.
So
because
I was going to say
so many more.
Yeah. So sets that are coming into it, this year we've had Final Fantasy, for instance. I'm thinking, which had so many new legendary creatures. They're legal in Tiny Leaders Reborn then?
Yes, absolutely. I actually have a full like streamed video on like ranking all of the Tiny Leaders that are in Final Fantasy. I think it came out to be like 87.
Oh, crikey.
Or something like that.
And I do love a ranking video. That's very that's very YouTube.
And so yeah, basically there's always just so many more cards. And so one of the problems that Tiny Leaders Original had was that people kept saying that it was a solved format because there was just so few like playable cards and playable commanders. And so there was these like 3 tier 1 decks and no tier 2 decks. And now you have so many commanders, the meta is nowhere near solved at all. And every set that's now every like 2 months or less than 2 months
Yeah.
is going to shake up that meta.
So, in comparing this to Commander, which obviously larger health pool and it's 4v4 rather than 1v1, are you finding that there's a lot of Commander players who are migrating to Tiny Leaders Reborn, or is there a lot of appeal to someone who, well, okay, say I'm a casual Commander player, I have a pod that I play with regularly, and while I guess I'm invested enough in Magic to be watching this video, I'm not so invested that I've got much more than an upgraded precon or two. So what is there that Tiny Leaders Reborn can offer me that the next time I meet up with my friends, I might suggest playing that than our regular game of Commander?
So the great thing about Tiny Leaders Reborn is that the games are just nice and snappy.
Right.
Usually you're talking like, at least an hour to like 90 minutes
right.
of a Commander game because of just, again, 40 life, 4 players, that's going to drag. And Tiny Leaders Reborn, you don't have to deal with that politics, which, is good and bad.
Yeah.
But you just have games be a lot snappier because, the curve is much lower. The shuffling time is much lower.
Smaller decks, of course, yeah.
Smaller decks, smaller life total.
One of the biggest complaints I've been hearing commonly about Commander recently is, which is interesting because the game has always kind of, or the format has always kind of been like this, but I am hearing more people complain about just how long games run for. And I think, I don't know that has gotten worse, but I've heard more complaints about it. And so actually, by the sounds of it, then Tiny Leaders Reborn, especially because it's 1v1, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a much quicker alternative than snappier, as you say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there a rotation or a ban list, or do you have your own independent ban list, or do you piggyback off of another formats? How does that work?
Yeah, the Tiny Leaders Reborn ban list does exist. It's being constantly updated, monitored. The most recent ban was actually Ketramos as commander.
Okay.
Because it was a bit too silly. It had a bit too many keywords. It drew a bit too many cards. But basically, it's constantly being monitored. The ban list is relatively small, and most of the cards are fairly understandable on why they're banned. Like Colossus Oracle's banned.
Okay. What about card staples or commander staples like Soul Ring, for instance, Arcane Signet? Because those are low cost and so presumably legal in the format. Where do we?
The Tiny Leaders Reborn ban list, a lot of it is trying to mitigate that fast mana. So Soul Ring is very banned. All of the Moxen are banned.
Sorry. No. Sorry. Soul Ring is banned in this format.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No Soul Ring.
Oh, okay. What about Arcane Signet?
Arcane Signet's legal, but actually, weirdly enough, kind of bad.
Okay.
Because what are you ramping into?
Oh, very true. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because they're all small. It's all small mana cost. Oh.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, that's very cool.
And so the only good forms of ramp are usually like 1-drops, like Birds of Paradise or Deathrite Shaman.
I do have a soft spot for Birds of Paradise because it's just such a classic. It's like lightning bolt. Like I'll never get sick of seeing it, I think.
Yep.
But I've grown bored of auto includes and seeing them, especially in Commander, certain cards just in every deck. So that's really refreshing to hear that they're not legal. You said the ban list is constantly being monitored. That's by yourself and the other members of the committee, I assume?
Yes. Yep.
What's the process like? How do you decide what's banned? How if the community thinks something is a problem, how quickly might that be reacted to? What goes on there?
So usually we have banned and restricted announcements every set release, which is now every 2 months. So now we usually have something called a watch list where we're going to basically say, okay, these cards are cards that we're looking at. And if they're still a problem by next ban list, we are going to get rid of them usually.
Sure.
And so usually the turnaround time's roughly 4 months or so.
Okay.
But obviously if a card like Nadu was a problem, we banned Nadu within 2 months.
Okay.
Because there was just no way that it was going to be strong. Now, it is legal in the 49, but not as commander.
Oh, so that's a separate list?
Yes. So there is
interesting.
there's a band in the 49, or a band in general, and then the band is commander list.
Okay.
Because some cards are legitimately too strong to be a commander card, but are probably just fine in the 49. So, like Uro, for example, is really strong in the command zone where you always have access to it. But in the 49, Simic's actually kind of weak in the format because, again, Simic, one of the best things it can do is ramp and draw. And if it can't ramp, then
that's a good way to defang green, to be fair. Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree. I'm gonna move on to my next question because I never stop speaking. We've used up about 10 minutes of time already. So, and actually, speaking of things like the banning of Nadu, that leads nicely into what is there for competitive players? Is there any kind of like tournaments, or is that on the cards? Have you got any intentions of that sort of thing going forward?
Oh yeah, this is the nice thing about Tiny Leaders is it can be both casual and competitive.
Sure.
And so in our Discord server, we have monthly leagues where we go and play usually more competitively. And all across the world, there are paper tournaments, like for example, in the Northern California area, there are monthly tournaments where you compete to potentially earn a dual land as a reward.
Oh,
so
okay.
Competitive scene is absolutely there, and casual scene also exists.
You mentioned the Discord. 2 questions, because one of the hardest things of any format is actually getting games to play. Is the Discord free to join, easy to access? And second question, how many people are on there roughly?
So the Discord is very easy to join. It's free. There's a lot of active people. There are about 2,500 members on the Discord, which obviously doesn't translate to active members, but there are a lot of active users. We have free online tournaments, as well as we use Cockatrice, which is a free tabletop simulator.
Okay.
We also
I haven't played that
stuff like we also have Spell Table and Tabletop Simulator as options that people play.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't used Cockatrice myself just yet, but I get the feeling that's going to change. If I'm a brewer, because you mentioned people complaining about the original Tiny Leaders being kind of a solved format. If I'm a brewer, or even, of Orthos or a collector or a casual, how much space is there within Tiny Leaders Reborn left to play in, whether if I want to tell like a story themed deck or brew something new that like is unexpected, is a mechanic that's not been seen before, something for me to flex in.
Yeah, there is so much room to brew and experiment, because while we have a lot smaller card pool, but generally speaking, I'm very much of a believer in the fact that restrictions breed creativity. And so
couldn't agree more.
Where with that restriction, you still have a lot of room to grow and expand. And so we have a lot of potential commanders that haven't been tested at all. And with casual, the world's your oyster.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I'm watching this video right now and my interest is piqued, but let's be honest, once this video is over, I imagine some people are going to never think about this format again. So whilst you have my attention, what can I do literally right now to give me an easy entry point into Tiny Leaders Reborn? Is there something that I can be clicking on literally at this minute as we speak to get my journey in this format started?
Absolutely. There's a Discord channel in the description, and you can just click that, join, say hello. We love new players, and we can point you in the right direction.
Okay, yeah, very good stuff. You've mentioned Cockatrice, so I get the feeling I already know the answer to this, but how accessible is the format? Like, how, what's the upper, I guess what I'm asking is what's the upper price on a deck? Because one of the things, for instance, that puts me off about Modern is that there's no precons for it, and I can't afford to just jump into that format. So, how much of a hurdle is that for Tiny Leaders Reborn as well?
Well, dual lands are legal, so you have already a really high cost there. However, we are not officially Wizard supported, and so a lot of the paper tournaments are going to be proxy friendly in some way.
Oh, okay.
And
well, that's good news.
Online, Cockatrice is a completely free client, and so we are rocking with like $800 decks, but we don't have to spend a cent on it.
Very good. Very good. I'm a big fan. I honestly, I think kitchen table and proxies are the future. I say it all the time in the comments. As a format committee member, I'm assuming you've got access to the ban list. You're seeing how people are playing, and you've got do you think there are there any kind of hacks or cheats or anything that you know about that can, guarantee that you're going to win every game you play of Tiny Leaders Reborn?
Absolutely. There's actually a trick that works for any singleton format, so that includes Commander.
Oh, okay.
And it's something that, you can do right now.
Sorry, we actually are out of time. I do apologize. That was your 15 minutes. I'm so sorry. Yeah, maybe we can rearrange another video and we can get back to that at some point. I'm sure people will want to know.
Okay, I guess.
Well, I think you've convinced me to give the format a go. So, if you're willing, we could play a game now. Well, I could boot up Cockatrice.
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool. And if you want to watch that, I'll upload the footage to my Patreon, which is also linked in the description below.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. One last thing before we go. What are those? Where are those places that people can go again if they want to join Tiny Leaders Reborn?
Go down to the description. We'll have our official YouTube channel linked, as well as the Discord, where you can hop in and make some new friends.
Well, perfect. Challenge completed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you too, Dogbot. A pleasure as always. Did you want to play? Well, sorry. I've promised to play the Cosmerian first. But you'll sort of be playing, I suppose, once I figured out how to install Cockatrice onto you. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you to everyone who supports me, like 27 publications, Eggboy the Particle that permeates all existence, Blank Space, Wanpako Jozu, Miss Murder, a random Patreon, Ominous Jazz, and the rest of my patrons whose names are on screen now. I'd also like to thank the sponsor for this video, me and my Patreon page, where you can get your name credited on screen too. Check it out in the link in the description below. Hit the like button, leave a comment, legalize proxies. Most importantly, subscribe and share this video with a friend. Hit the notification bell and do all those things the algorithm loves. If you agree or disagree with any of my points, or you want to see me do a video on another subject, let me know and I will see you next time. I'm going to take a pause because that was great. You made me laugh, sorry. that was really good. That was great. That's thrown me. Oh, by the way, really good answers to the questions as well. This is, I think this is really, really good. I think this is gonna pop. Big fan. This is incidental, but like I said, I didn't do a lot of research into Tiny Leaders Reborn. I started to watch your tutorial video and I was like, I'm sure this is interesting, but so you've taken me by genuine surprise by some of the things you say, because I didn't know that proxies were legal. I didn't know that Sol Ring was banned. So now I'm like genuinely hyped for the format, and that's good. That's really good. That if we can be having this conversation, because I think you've come to the right person. I hope this video does well, because those are things that I talk about frequently, problems that I have spotted, especially within Commander, that seem to resonate with my audience. And so if you've had that impact on me, I'm hoping that the people will watch are going to be of the same mindset. So I think that's good.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. What I'm going to do now